The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, is seeking the approval of the Nigerian Senate to spend 5.2 billion naira from the INEC Special Intervention Fund, which has been accruing since the year 2010, to make up for the shortfall in the 2020 budget. This request was made during the Commission's 2021 budget defense session before the Senate Committee on INEC. Professor Yakubu explained that the year 2020 has been really challenging for the Commission, owing to disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic, which affected the Commission's activities, leading to the downward review of its budget and key exercises, especially the continuous voter registration (CVR) exercise. The INEC chairman also emphasized that if the Commission is not able to access the fund, it will not be able to meet its commitment for the year. Well, joining me in the studio now to discuss just how essential this intervention fund is at this time is public affairs analyst Oladimeji Salako. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7.
Thank you very much.
Well, INEC desires to spend 5.2 billion of the 10 billion that has accrued since 2010 as a result of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Just how essential is this at this time?
It's very essential, just like you have rightly said. The effect of the COVID-19 is everywhere. It's a pandemic, and then it has affected all aspects of humanity. And so it's important that the Electoral Commission has come out clearly to say that this cannot suffice for the fiscal year. And there is the need for the legislative to allow them to go into the intervention fund so that they can have an effective and adequate fiscal year as it has to do with INEC. But however, this is not particularly the focus, should be the focus. Okay. The focus should be what essentially are they going to be spending these resources on. As then we were talking about the budget performance. So that's at the epicenter of the discourse.
One main thing that INEC has pointed to is the continuous voter registration exercise, voter registration exercise. You know, the need to begin now so that it's not a rush work just before the 2023 elections. And of course, a whole lot of resources would be necessary for that. But also looking at the pandemic and restrictions put in place by government to limit the spread of the virus.
The continuous voters registration is a good innovation. And then I think it's a good one for INEC to start in earnest so that we would try to avoid the pull and push circumstance that has become a culture in Nigeria electoral environment. But I expect some aspects in that budget. I've looked into the content of that budget.
What budget now, 2020 or 2021?
2021, okay. As it relates with INEC. And I kind of expect to see some proactive and anticipatory measures. You know, for example, consider that, let us assume that 2023 happens to be now. How would INEC conduct election amidst, this pandemic? I think INEC needs to learn from 2019 election. There are a lot of inconclusive elections. There are a lot of postponements. And this is a clear call. The clear cause to this is that INEC has not been able to be proactive to anticipate unforeseen circumstances.
But perhaps it is time now for us to begin to consider electronic voting.
Yeah, electronic voting is also one of the features in that INEC content of the budget. But my argument is that election, despite the fact that it is the heart of democracy, we must also understand that the function of election goes beyond selecting leaders. Essentially, election is also a moral instrument, an ethical instrument that confers moral authority on political leaders. And so you must talk about legitimate government. And then if you talk about legitimate government, then you are saying that an umpire, an electoral umpire, must conduct an election that will freely, credibly elect a leader. And in turn, the people have the confidence in that particular leader to the extent that he makes law and they accept that this law will have binding force on them. So I have hinged this analysis on confidence. So confidence is at the epicenter of a democratic consolidation. Despite the fact that we have not introduced electronic voting into our system, yet individuals, political parties still nurse this distrust in the electoral process. Now, INEC should not be in a haste of bringing electronic voting or absentee voting, diaspora voting. I've seen a lot of this. But the confidence in all of this is also very, very critical.
The confidence is key, but you also mentioned the fact that INEC needs to be preemptive, needs to think about the future, and if we must do that, we might just have to go the way of technology, and INEC is actually already introducing some level of technology to make its electoral system smoother. I must really appreciate you for joining me at this time. Public Affairs Analyst Oladimeji Salako, thank you for your time on TVC News at 7.
Thank you for